watching Good Morning Britain. So our pets are absolutely part of our families. They bring us so much pleasure and joy, don't they? But then they reach the end of their lives and it can be really tough trying to deal with that grief and manage it for children and all involved. So what do you think about the idea of holding a formal funeral or even a memorial for pets? Pete Downs' wife, Rachel Fuller, has lost 6 dogs in 5 years and says that we should all take more time to grieve the animals we've loved and lost. Yeah, she's written a Requiem, which she hopes people can use as part of their remembrance, and it had its premiere in central London last night. A number of famous faces spoke to us about the music and how important it is to them to remember our pets and the impact that they've had on their lives.
Musically and melodically, it's structured to let everybody in the audience remember their pets, remember their lost animal.
I think about my dogs every day when they're gone. They just remain a part of your life.
We've lost 2 dogs, you know. I mean, and every time it's like, I mean, people don't. And if you don't have dogs, you don't understand. But you know, it's heartbreaking.
You know, they're extraordinary, and they're selfless, and you know, but they don't have a voice. So if we can give them one, that's great.
It's a heart connection, and I think that's why people really get so upset when they lose them.
Well, Rachel and her dog Elsa join us now here in the studio.
Elsa looks very happy there, having a little snooze on the floor. Early start.
How was it then? What was the experience like of it last night?
It was amazing. It was really amazing. I didn't know what to expect, really, but I was just blown away. I mean, the orchestra, fabulous. The choir's fabulous. Alfie was great. So it went down really well. I was thrilled.
Clearly you and Pete are real animal lovers. As Kate was saying, you lost 5 dogs in 6 years, which is...
6 dogs in 5 years.
That's quite a dramatic sort of transfer of dogs and life and stuff. How did that happen?
Well, it sounds a bit careless, but actually what happened was we got all 6 of them within sort of like a 2-3 year period. So we had 12 years where we had a pack of 6, which was amazing.
Wow. And they were rescue dogs,
Most of them were rescue.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that they all started to get old at the same time.
Right.
So, and they all died of old age, which is great. But we lost all 6 of them in a period of 5 years.
And dealing, we were celebrating everyone's animals in the snow this morning and how much the dogs particularly are enjoying it. But dealing with that loss when they've become such an important part of your lives isn't easy, is it?
It's not easy. I think grief is grief, whether it's for a person or an animal. And I think people that own animals, especially if they've had them for like 10, 12, 14 years, they become like a family member. You know, you take care of them and they give back so much. And it's a real relationship and a bond. So when they pass, you know, it's heartbreaking. So
how did you come up with the idea of writing this Requiem and the idea of a memorial and something that other people could use to remember their pets?
Well, I think it was probably inspired by my own grief. You know, losing so many in a short time. You know, it was very tough. And I'd always wanted to write a Requiem. And the idea just came to me. I thought I should write an animal Requiem. And my hope is that it will be performed in lots of different places and people can come. Last night we had a big memorial board and people bought photos of the pets that they'd lost, whether it was recent or, you know, 10 years ago. And just to sit, listen to the music and remember and sort of celebrate the life of the animal.
It is what, I suppose, in a way, culturally, funerals are for people, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're a chance to not get over the loss of someone you've loved, but to process the grief.
And to celebrate.
And I guess, in a sense, we haven't got that, have we, for the grief of losing a pet?
Well, when I was 17 years old, I played the organ in a crematorium for 2 years.
Did you?
It was sort of like my day job. And so I've played for about 2,000 funerals. So as an outsider, I really understand how important it is, not just to say goodbye. And of course, you know, people grieve, but to remember and to celebrate, and it's dignified. And it also brings a certain amount of closure, I think.
Fantastic. So how would people be able to hear this Requiem, Rachel? Where can they sort of hear the music?
Well, it's available to buy now on iTunes. And it will be on CD, I think, Amazon, 8th of March. And I hope people will get the album and then when they lose a pet, or lose a pet and then get the album, just have a quiet time at home, maybe light a candle, listen to the music and remember.
Do you think we're sympathetic enough? Do you think when you come in and people say, oh, my cat died, do you think generally society we get...
But if you haven't got pets, sometimes it can seem a little bit like this is excessive.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Peter Egan spoke at the service last night and read a poem called Just a Dog. And I think pet owners understand it's a loss. People that don't own pets perhaps don't. But, you know, that's OK.
Well, it's wonderful.
It is. Rachel, thanks for coming in. Elsa looks perfectly happy there, doesn't she?
Delighted.
She's great.
Enjoyed it immensely. But it's really interesting, especially the day we've been talking about animals out in the snow as well. People do enjoy their pets. They're a huge part of the family, aren't they? Thanks for joining us.
Huge part of it.
Thank you so much.
Well, then, still to come, David Suchet will be here telling us how he's celebrating 50 years on the stage. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV.